Hello, and welcome to another video on making home better. In this video, we are going to take a look at how we renovated one of our bedrooms to take it from this to this. We have been at our house for a little over 10 years. From day one, we knew this bedroom needed to be remodeled. It was not an immediate need, and hence we put it off and off and off. We are finally getting around to it. My original plan was to just do one video showing the complete transformation. But as I got started, I quickly realized that it was going to take some time to do everything that I wanted to accomplish. So I will capture the transformation in a series of videos. In this first video, we will remove the wallpaper and paint the walls and trim. Episode 2 will revolve around adding LED uplighting on the wall behind some crown molding to give the room some life. Another episode will be to convert a boring wall by adding a design to it as well as floating shelves. I'm especially looking forward to this one. Since the floating shelves will interfere with how the bifold doors currently operate, I will convert this to a bypass door. Last but not least, I hope to make a bed for my daughter that has some built-in storage. This is still very early in the planning, so we shall see how it all pans out. So please subscribe, like, and hit the notification icon to follow us along on this journey. Let's take a look at what it took to make this transformation, which hopefully will help you take on similar projects. We have looked at this cowboy wallpaper for a long time and dreaded the day we had to actually remove it. Many years ago, I have removed wallpaper from a room, and I remember it being a nightmare. At the time, I took the approach of scoring the wallpaper and using the store-bought wallpaper removal solution to penetrate the wall and scrape the wallpaper off. I remember this being a very messy process and had been looking at alternatives. I noticed that there is actually a wallpaper removal steamer available for purchase on Amazon. So I decided to take a shot with my little cloth steamer and see if that would be effective. Turned out this worked great. Still very slow, but effective and a lot less messy. For the particular wallpaper we have, it ended up being a two-step process. First, to remove the plasticky cover on the wallpaper, and then really get in deep with the steamer to melt the glue and remove the paper backing. It took some time, but the end result was good, leaving very few places to patch up. And as I gained some experience with this process, I was successful most of the time in removing big chunks at a time with some patience. It was in some way a very satisfying process, and also got the entire family involved and made some memories. Using an all-purpose sponge and some warm water, I wiped down the walls 3 times to remove as much of the leftover wallpaper adhesive as possible. This is an important step to make sure you are able to get a good coat of paint onto the wall. Each time the wall was wiped down, you can see that the water was getting clearer and clearer when wringing out the sponge. This next step was overkill. I had purchased a cheapo HVLP sprayer recently and thought I would use it to paint this room. As I prepared the room for this by covering all the surfaces to protect against the overspray, I quickly figured out that doing all the prep is just not worth it for such a small space. Regardless, I covered the floor using a general purpose masking paper. I will leave a link to this and the various products I used or something similar to it in the description if you need to pick it up for your project. Using the steamer to remove the wallpaper left a fairly clean wall without a lot of damage. There were still some spots that had imperfections from years of repainting and nail holes. Especially where the wallpaper joints met, there were lines of paint that had chipped away for whatever reason. The contractors that did some drywalling for me a few years back had left their extra joint compound. So I used this to patch up all these imperfections. For the most part, I just did a single coat with a light sanding after it dried. I used my shop vac to clean up most of the dust and followed it up with a wipe down using a slightly damp sponge, and we were good to go. To get all the walls ready for paint, I started off by putting a coat of primer on the trim. Our trim had this stained quarter round at the base that especially needed this coat of primer so that the paint would adhere properly. Once the trim was primed, including the window trim, I put a coat of the same on the walls, paying careful attention to cut in around the ceiling. Since the ceiling itself was in good shape, I decided to skip painting this. I had picked up a silicone paint can lid to make it easier to pour the paint out of the can to create less of a mess. This worked well with the primer since it had a metal can. For the bare paint, however, we ended up using, this did not work since the new bare paint is using a plastic can. They do provide a little contraption to make it easier to pour, which kind of sort of works. More on that coming up. To me, selecting the paint color is one of the hardest things about this project. To help with the decision, we got some samples from Home Depot and painted a few small patches on the wall. This certainly helped the family make a decision that we can all live with. We decided to go with two colors, a light one for most of the walls and a darker shade for a feature wall. This is the wall that is getting the trim details and floating shelves in one of the later parts of this series. To figure out how much paint to buy, and to get the measurements for the LED lights and trim needed for the project, I pulled out my Bosch laser measurement tool. Links to this and all other products can be found in the description. This made all the measurements quick and easy. For the paint, we purchased the Bare Marquee paint in eggshell finish. As mentioned before, this comes in a plastic can and has a contraption to make pouring the paint easier. You insert a spout that comes with the can and pour. It still created somewhat of a mess for me, but less than pouring straight out of an open can. I was able to cut the corners in without taping for the most part against the ceiling and the trim. For the feature wall edges, I used blue tape to get a clean line between the colors. The marquee line is intended to provide a single coat coverage, and for the most part this was true. I think a second coat is still a good idea to ensure that there are no light spots. I didn't do this, however, and ended up going back and patching in the light spots I could find by dabbing with the paintbrush. To finish off the painting, I gave all the trim a coat of the Sherwin-Williams Pro Classic trim paint in semi-gloss finish. To complete the first part of this bedroom renovation, I also went ahead and replaced all the outlets and the switch in the room with new ones, including new outlet covers to give it a fresh, clean look. Make sure you turn off your circuit breaker before replacing any outlets. I also used a receptacle tester to make sure that all the connections are made properly. It's a simple and cheap upgrade, but makes a huge impact to the room. This project was a long time coming and a big step in the transformation of this bedroom for our daughter. We are certainly not done, so please subscribe if you are interested in seeing the full transformation unfold over the coming weeks and months. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, take care.